All right, guys, well, I'm back today with an overview of another high-value Glock copy or clone, and this one is actually from Bear Creek Arsenal. This is the BC-101 Grizzly pistol, and it is very similar to the Generation 3 Glock 17. Now, it's its own independent handgun, but the slides and lowers are interchangeable with other Gen 3 Glock 17 slides and frames, so it's pretty cool if you want to swap around parts. The complete setup comes in right at $299, making it one of the most affordable G17 copies on the market. Now, I recently reviewed one of the Bear Creek Arsenal aluminum frame pistols, and I wasn't very happy with the ergonomics of the aluminum frame. I was honestly wondering, why the aluminum over something like polymer if it wasn't going to be an ergonomic feel. Now, I don't believe they carry those aluminum frame guns anymore, and they've completely switched to polymer frame guns. And as of last check, it looks like there's about 15 different versions of this. So if you don't like this exact version, it looks like there's 15 others. Everything from window cut versions to threaded barrel versions to copper and gold barrel versions, spiral fluted versions, and they all seem to be the exact same price point of $295. Now, before we get into the full overview of this handgun, I do want to give a huge shout out to AAC Ammunition for donating the ammo to help make this video. Without their support, it would be very difficult. And in fact, if you're watching this video today, I'm filming it today, and I'm going to post it today, AAC dropped their prices on 5.56 as well as 308 and a few other calibers, so definitely check out the campsite page for more info on AAC as well as Bear Creek Arsenal. And the last thing I want to mention, if you're looking for a high-value red dot to put on top, this brand new CV Life is a great option. It's about $77 after all of the discounts, and I've got full reviews if you want to check it out. But let's dig into the full overview of this handgun. One of the first things I want to mention right off the bat is it is ergonomic. It feels good. It feels nice in your hands, and this is what should have been done from the beginning. It's lightweight, it's balanced, and it feels nice. It's got almost subtle finger grooves, but not overly defined as to tell you exactly where to put your fingers, so it's going to be good for every hand size. The texturing on this is nice, it feels good, and it's incredibly comfortable. It's got enough texturing on there to grab if it's wet or you get something on your hands, but it's not overly aggressive to tear up your hands while shooting. It does have index points at the top. One of my favorite things about this setup is it does come with the traditional pick rail rather than a Glock rail up front, making it a little bit more versatile than a traditional Glock, so that's a nice touch to the frame. The mag release button works good. It stays out of the way. It actuates nicely, and some of the issues I was having with the original aluminum frame guns with mag drops and mag issues completely went away with this new polymer framed handgun. So that's one of the first things I want to mention right off the bat. The next thing I want to discuss is the slide itself. It comes with these kind of high-vis sights. They're okay. I've seen these style sights before on Amazon and things like that. I'm at least assuming it's very similar for about $30. So not the nicest sights in the world, but these are aluminum sights or metal sights. And I don't know what material they're out of. Some type of metal sights. And they work. They work well, and they're metal sights, like above and beyond what a Glock would do. The slide cuts on this guy are pretty slick if you have a colored barrel in here. For me, this is not going to be like a personal defense handgun, so slide cuts don't bother me for the ingress of dirt. It's more of a competition style or range use handgun, and those slide cuts really lighten up the slide, and then when you add the mass of the optic, it balances incredibly nicely down at the range, and it really absorbs the recoil impulse. This thing, when shooting 115 grain AAC, was like a competition recoil impulse of a competition style handgun. It was incredibly nice to shoot down at the range. The slide cuts are very functional for press checks. The RMR cut fit a few different RMRs and it dropped in perfectly. The stainless steel barrel seems fairly accurate at whatever distance I'm shooting, and honestly, the trigger on this guy is not that bad. It's got that trigger dingus, but no matter where you press the trigger on this guy, it engages, so you don't have like a high spot dead issue when you're pulling the trigger. It definitely hits a spot and a very crisp break. It's actually a better trigger than most Glocks I shoot, so a little bit ergonomic than some Glocks I shoot. It's got the pick rail index points, a little bit better trigger, light recoil impulse. I mean, this is shaping up on paper to be good, But here's what I want to note, and I want to stress this pretty hard. You will get good things from Bear Creek Arsenal, and occasionally you will get a lemon. This gun, no matter what I did when I got it, when this slide lock or slide stop was locked into position, there wasn't enough strength in the world for me to pull this down and drop the slide home. It was impossible. It just wouldn't happen. And because there was a machining defect on the slide that caused the burr right here. Now, I believe I took 1,000 grit sandpaper and ran it over about 20 times, and it just smoothed it out. The burr went away, and now this locks back, and you can drop it with no issues whatsoever. In fact, it's incredibly nice now. I shouldn't have to do that. That should have been a function test after the pistol, a simple function test. Now, I know a lot of guys are going to say in the comments that that is not a slide release. You should rack the slide to release it, and correct. I mean, I guess that's technically what it is, but in competition shooting and where every second counts, a lot of guys are training to utilize that drop with that slide lock. And that's what I do. That's my training habit. So when it's physically incapable of working, that shouldn't have happened. Again, I fixed it in about 30 seconds with no issues whatsoever. And honestly, it was a very simple fix. Although you can see right here, if I can get the light right on camera, you can see how the finish is worn away right there, because that's where I just took that burr off. Just something to consider. You know, a lot of guys will leave comments saying, I've never had an issue with Bear Creek, and a couple of guys will leave comments saying, hey, I got one that wouldn't run no matter what. The good thing about Bear Creek Arsenal is they do offer that lifetime warranty, so they will make your stuff right. And I could have easily sent this back, but it was something I could tinker with and get it handled. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Have you shot the new Grizzly? What do you think of it? I personally love the gun. I wish I wouldn't have had to use sandpaper on that guy right there, a little file. I feel like that would turn a lot of people off. I feel like it would confuse people to get a gun like that not working, have to send it back for a simple process that could have been caught in QC. And that's just something I stress in a lot of my reviews. Simple QC issues can stack up and be issues if they're not catching it. In my opinion, though, I still love this handgun, but I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. I also want to give a huge shout out to Bear Creek Arsenal for sending this out to the channel for me to try out. They're getting into a lot of new platforms lately, not just the AR, and I recently reviewed one of their 22 Ruger 1022 clones and really fell in love with that. It was a tack driver with standard velocity ammo, so I love to see them expanding outside of the AR zone. Again, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.